The beading stitch creates vertical columns using two different colors. For this, you want to choose yarns that are similar in texture and size. First, begin by weaving in one direction with a plain weave. For this one, I'm going to leave out my tail and I will later weave it up through the side of my weft. For your second pass, you will go in the same direction but alternating your plain weave. So I have my blue yarn as starting underneath this last warp. My green yarn will start over that last warp. All of my blue yarn is always going to go over and under the exact same warp strings, and same for the green. So I need to make sure that I have my blue weft locked underneath my green weft. If I didn't have this weft going under my green, then I wouldn't be able to hook underneath and I wouldn't have this nice edge. So make sure that before you start your next pass that your weft is locked under the last weft color. And then I'm going to check. I was over this last warp and then under the second. So I want to start by picking under the second warp, which is matching my first pass of blue weft. For my green, I ended by going underneath my last warp. So again, I will go underneath my last warp with my green. For my next row, I need to make sure that my blue yarn is going over the green so that when I hook underneath my warp, it is locked in. I ended my blue going over my last warp, so I need to pass my blue going underneath the green so that it's locked in, and the next pass is also over that warp string. After several passes, I can see how I have my vertical stripes developed. The blue yarn is always going over the same warp and under the same warp, and the green is also going underneath the same warp and over the same warp, just opposite, so that way I have my pattern. You can see if I pull too tightly before I start this next row that this last weft is going to start slipping and really create a lot of hourglassing. So make sure that you leave this loop, make it taut, but leave that loop and then start weaving without pulling this previous weft too tight. Another way to weave in your tails is to take your needle and go through the loops from your weft and then pass your needle through to kind of hide them.